Hi, hello to all the students of 10th standard. This is your Prasanna Ma'am from NEET World. Now we are going to resume back our case-based questions again on solving the case-based questions from the topics chemosynthetic, photosynthetic nutrition, structure of the chloroplast, light reactions and dark reactions. So that all the segments of the concept nutrition in the plants will be covered. So yes, let's get started with this question, where in this case say that in a biology class, students were discussing different types of autotrophic nutrition like you people. Ria explained that green plants perform photosynthesis, yes, converting light energy into chemical energy using chlorophyll. Meanwhile, Arjun mentioned certain bacteria that do not require, sunlight but use chemicals like hydrogen sulfide to prepare food. The teacher concluded that both the forms are of autotrophic nutrition, but one uses light while the other uses chemical energy. So yes, this case study is based on autotrophic and heterotrophic nutrition. So here you have to know phototrophic nutrition, where the plants, like for example plants or bacteria as well, which has chlorophyll in it, that utilizes the sunlight as energy for the preparation of food material. And for photosynthetic nutrition, electron donor will be water. For chemosynthetic nutrition, electron donor will be H2S, and they will derive the energy not from sunlight but from chemical energy. By the oxidation of food molecules, chemical energy is released like ATP. This energy they will utilize for the nutrition, and the electron donor here will be H2S. Now if we have to look into the questions with regards to this case study, first, which of the following is photosynthetic organism? What is photosynthetic organism here ma? Nitrosomonas, no, this is a nitrogen fixing bacteria. Cuscuta is a parasite, Rhizobium is a symbiont, right? So here Spirogyra is photosynthetic organism. What is Spirogyra ma? It is filamentous green algae. This is filamentous green algae. Fine. Next case if we have to take, next questions based on this. What is the main energy source for photosynthetic nutrition? What is the main energy source? Sunlight is the main energy source. Which organism performs chemosynthetic nutrition? Which organisms will perform? Chemosynthetic bacteria will perform chemosynthetic nutrition, where the energy they derive is ATP and electron donors will be like hydrogen sulfide. Next two questions on this again. What is common between photosynthesis and chemosynthesis? What is common beta? Both of them are autotrophic mode of nutrition itself. What is common between them? Both of them are having autotrophic mode of nutrition only. Which of the following is not needed for chemosynthesis? What is not needed for chemosynthesis? Light. Light is not required for chemosynthesis. This is required for photoautotrophic nutrition or photosynthesis. And next questions if we have to take, next case study. This case study is based on the structure of the chloroplast. Look into it keenly beta. During a lab session, the teacher showed a model of a chloroplast. It was green, oval shaped and had internal membrane stalks called as grana. This has connected to lamellae. The fluid surrounding them was called as stroma. Students learned that chloroplasts are double membrane bound organelles found only in plant cells, and they contain pigment chlorophyll required for photosynthesis. So yes, if we have to remember the chloroplast structure, it is a double membrane bound organelle inside which you have membranous sac like structures. Okay, what do you have beta? Membranous sac like structures called as thylakoid. Stalk of sac like structures is called as grana. One grana is connected to another grana by stroma lamellae, and the fluid filled space here is called as stroma. Fluid filled space here is called as stroma. This stroma is the site for light independent reactions. This is the site for light dependent reactions. If you have to solve the questions regarding this case, green pigment present in the chloroplast is, that is given here only. The pigment name is chlorophyll. That is a green pigment. These pigments are accessory or antenna pigments. What is the function of the grana in the chloroplast? What is the function of grana here, ma? This grana is the site for light dependent reactions. Stroma is the site for light independent reactions. Now, look into these questions also properly. Which part of the chloroplast contains enzymes for dark reaction? Which part will contain enzymes, ma? Stroma will contain enzymes for dark reactions. Fluid filled space in the chloroplast. Chloroplasts are present in plant cells only. They are not present in animal cells. How? Animal cells, nutrition is purely heterotrophic. Next, chloroplast is surrounded by double membrane bound organelle. That is also given in your case itself. So, the advantage of case based questions is, out of 5 questions, 2 questions you can directly solve by looking into the case study properly. Okay. Now, let us solve 2 more case studies, beta. 2 more case studies, wherein this one case is about light reactions of photosynthesis. So, in a school laboratory, students observed a diagram of light reaction of photosynthesis. Their teacher explained that this reaction occurs in grana of chloroplast and needs sunlight. They need sunlight for this. During this stage, water molecules will split to release oxygen and energy rich molecules ATP and NADPH. This energy rich molecules ATP and NADPH together you can call it as assimilatory power. Assimilatory power. And next, this reaction is first step of photosynthesis and this is dependent on light. Where does the light reaction takes place here? Light reaction takes place in grana of the chloroplast, right? Next, which of the following is a product of light reaction? What is the product of light reaction, ma? NADPH. Okay, NADPH is the product of light reaction, because I'll remind you those 3 steps of light reaction. What happens in that 3 steps, ma? The first step is absorption of light in the form of photons. Second step is photolysis of water. Photolysis of water. And third step is formation of assimilatory power, that is ATP and NADPH. So, these are obtained, ATP and NADPH, which is the assimilatory power that is obtained at the end of light reactions. Next, which gas is released during the light reaction? What is released, beta? Oxygen is released, which is as byproduct. What is the primary product? Glucose is the primary product. The process of splitting water molecules in the light reaction is called as photolysis. It is called as photolysis. Which molecule stores energy for the dark reaction? Which molecule will store the energy, beta? ATP will store energy for the dark reaction. Now, last case study. This case study is specifically on dark reactions of photosynthesis. After learning about light reaction, the teacher introduced dark reaction, also known as Kelvin cycle. This reaction takes place in stroma of the chloroplast and does not require direct sunlight. It doesn't require direct sunlight. Though it uses ATP and NADPH, this is not directly dependent on light, but is dependent on products of light reaction, right, beta? So, this produced during the light reaction. In this stage, carbon dioxide is fixed to glucose, or you can also say carbon dioxide is reduced to glucose through a series of enzyme controlled steps. where you will learn it clearly in the respiration. So now, where does dark reaction occurs in the chloroplast? Dark reaction occurs in stroma of the chloroplast. What is the final product of dark reaction? What is the final product of dark reaction, ma? Glucose is the final product of dark reaction. Next. What is required for dark reaction to take place? What is required for dark reaction to take place, ma? ATP, NADPH, which are formed at the end of light reaction, and carbon dioxide is required for fixation. So we need assimilatory power excuse me, assimilatory power ATP and NADPH and carbon dioxide. Excuse. The enzyme that helps in fixing carbon dioxide in Kelvin cycle is, which is the enzyme that is required for fixation of carbon dioxide? Rubisco. And do remember, Rubisco is the world's abundant enzyme. This is world's abundant enzyme. Fine. What is another name for dark reaction? What is the another name for dark reaction, ma? Light independent reaction. This is the another name for dark reaction. Calling light independent reactions as dark reaction is a misnomer because it doesn't take place in dark. It is called as light independent because it is not directly dependent on light, which doesn't mean that these reactions takes place in dark. So calling like that is a misnomer, but still we use it as a synonym. Fine. So yes, these are all the case based studies from nutrition in plants beta. In coming sessions, we also explore all the types of objective questions, short questions, long questions and case based questions of each and every concept from biology. So stay tuned with the NEET World channel and subscribe the channel for getting immediate notifications. Thank you.